Why your child plays better in practice than in games. Every single week, I get a message from a parent saying the same thing. Valentino, my son is unbelievable in practice, the coaches love him, but the moment the game starts, he disappears. It's like watching a completely different kid. Sound familiar? If you are nodding right now, this video is going to change everything for you. Because what is happening to your child in games is not a talent problem. It's not a confidence problem. It's not even a mental toughness problem. A very specific, very fixable brain problem. And once you understand it, you will never look at your child's performance the same way. So stay with me. This one is super important. My name is Valentino Di Lorenzo and I run a DSM, so-called Di Lorenzo Soccer Mindset, and I've already worked with over 500 competitive youth soccer players, MLS next level athletes, high level academy kids, players who had every physical, technical tools you could ask for. And in almost every single case, the players who came to me were not struggling because of their speed. They were struggling because of what was happening between their ears. 8 weeks after working with us, those same players were captain of their teams, team leaders, playing their best soccer in the biggest moments. Not because they suddenly got faster or more technical, because their mind changed. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what was holding them back and what you can do about it starting from this week. Here's what's happening inside your child's brain on game day. In practice, there are no real consequences, no crowd, no scoreboard. The coach deciding the future, no parent on the sideline, watching every single touch. The brain recognizes a safe environment. The brain operates in what neuroscientists call learning mode. Open, creative, willing to try, willing to fail, free. And when the game starts, the moment where there's crowds, there's parents on the sideline, there's a score, there's a game to win, something at stake, the brain flips the switch. And that switch is called the amygdala response. When it fires, the brain shifts from learning mode into survival mode. And here's the critical thing you need to understand. In survival mode, the brain does not execute skills, execute safety protocols. It stops asking, what is the best play here? It starts asking, what is the safest play here? How do I not mess up? What play will get me in the least trouble possible? So your child stops dribbling, stops taking risks, stops trying the creative thing that they do in practice every single day. Not because they forgot how, not because they do not want it, because their brain is running a program, a survival one that says do not fail in public, do not make mistakes, do not stand out for the wrong reasons. And here's the part that makes parents feel both relieved and uncomfortable at the same time. This is not weakness, this is not character flaw. This is how every human brain works under perceived social threat. It happens to professional players. It happens to adults in job interviews, in presentations, in high-stakes meetings. The brain under pressure does not rise to the level of your skills, falls to the level of your training. And if your child has never specifically trained to override the survival brain, it will keep running the show every single game. This is why I call practice confidence is fake confidence. I know that sounds harsh, but hear me out. Practice confidence is real in practice. It is not transferable because it was never tested under real pressure. Think about it. If you have only ever driven a car in an empty parking lot, you feel confident behind the wheel. You can accelerate, you can brake, you can turn, you can park. No problem. Now put that on a highway in a rainstorm with cars flying past you at 80 miles per hour. That parking lot confidence means nothing. And this is why all the technical training you're doing is just training their practice brain. Because the conditions are completely different. Your child's at practice versus games, the brain operates in a different way. So when parents say he just needs to believe in himself more, or he just needs more touches, he just needs to play with more confidence, I understand where that comes from, but it is the wrong diagnosis. Telling a child to be more confident is like telling someone who is drowning just to relax and swim. The instruction is not wrong, but is completely disconnected from what actually happening in their body. What your child needs is not more belief. What they need is a trained automatic response to pressure. The difference between those two things is everything. So here's how we actually fix it at DSM. 3 steps. The first one is simulate pressure in training. The brain adapts to repeatedly experiences. If your child only experiences calm, low stakes practice, the brain never learns to perform under real pressure. So we create the mental tools that they need to utilize in practice, but also in games, so they can become that person. Because the brain needs to practice staying calm under fire, not just staying calm. Over time, used to feel like a threat start to feel familiar, and what feels familiar no longer triggers the survival response. Step 2, training the reset response. So every player we work with, they are struggling to move on from mistakes. They don't know what to do after mistakes. So we train the mental reset after mistakes or whenever something happened during the game. Something that takes 3 seconds or less and send a signal to the nervous system, I'm okay, I'm safe, it's just a one mistake, right? Signaling the brain that it's okay to make mistakes, it is safe, and professional players are doing it, and they just need to practice it over and over. This way it becomes easier in games. Because in a game, you do not have the time to think your way through a mistake. You don't have time to analyze. You need to reset automatically. Step 3 is using positive self-talk whenever you make those mistakes, and basically using this as a mental loop between being aggressive, taking risks, moving on from mistakes, and then using the positive self-talk all around. If your child does this consistently, and this is what we teach in our program, one of the basics foundation of the program is to develop those mental tools and continue using them so they can get easier to move on from mistakes, it can get easier to take more risks, and they finally get to play at the level that they should be playing, with more confidence, with more aggressiveness, and also acting like professional players. The real players show up in practice, but also in games. And you as a parent, the number one thing you can do to help before every game is give your child one specific action to win early. So instead of believing in yourself, score the goals today, maybe you can say press when you don't have the ball, or ask for the ball when you're on the field, talk more on the field, make a first simple touch in the game so you can build that confidence. Or maybe words like next play, don't worry about this mistake, keep going, right? Encouraging things instead of yelling at them saying, why did you miss that? Because every time you say next play, move on, you're training the reset. You're training, reinforcing the exact behaviors that builds real confidence. So your child is not two different players. They are one player with a brain that has not been trained to perform under pressure. So that training is available, it's real, and it works only if they're able to use the mental tools to apply it in games. If you like this type of video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more content. If you want your child to be completely transformed in the next 90 days, click the link below. I have a link here in the description. You can book a call with us and see if your child is a good fit for our mentorship program. I'll see you in the next video.